workers and ports are still far apart on negotiations this morning, and worry that the strike will last for weeks could be fueling a surge in panic buying. Stores across the country are starting to see empty shelves, really long lines. This is one in Virginia. I'm sure we all remember the hoarding and supply chain issues during the pandemic. News Nation senior investigative reporter Rich McHugh is at the Port of Elizabeth in New Jersey. Rich, these supply chain fears will only grow the longer this strike lasts. How far apart exactly are these two sides?
Well, good morning, Marky. It's hard to say exactly from the owner's perspective of the port, but in talking with some of the longshoremen here this morning, they're dug in, prepared for a long fight if needed, and it's like a party atmosphere out here. They're not going anywhere. Most goods that come through here for Americans, everything we eat, wear, use, comes through ports like this. Most of them, not all. Last year alone, it was $588 billion worth of goods come through ports like this one. And people are freaking out, and it has people buying in panic. Take a look.
From Maine to Texas, dock workers at 36 ports along the eastern U.S. have walked off the job for the first time in decades, raising serious questions about disruptions to the supply chain and the possibility of widespread shortages if this continues. Here in New Jersey, customers at Costco stocking up in case.
I needed supplies. I had no choice. And of course, I'm, like anybody else, anticipating a long-range strike at the port, so that's why I've got a trunk full of stuff.
Cases of water, paper towels, and the elusive toilet paper.
People were living with 7 or 8 in their cars, and this month, and they said come back tomorrow.
Social media posts like these popping up about runs on water, toilet paper, showing shelves normally overflowing with paper towels now barren. Chris Spears, CEO of the American Truckers Association, predicts consumers will see shortages in the produce section as early as this week.
2 weeks, 3 weeks, you're going to start to see things slip into the holiday season.
I want the community to start preparing. I want them to go get essentials. You don't have to rush panic buy, but I do want them to have some essentials at their house. Toilet paper, paper towels, things of that nature.
The Biden administration hoping to avoid chaotic scenes of hoarding like this from 2020 at the start of the pandemic. They say they're working nonstop with both sides to push the negotiations forward.
Now, Americans have such PTSD from the pandemic, but one silver lining here, Marky, is that toilet paper, paper products, paper towels do not come through here. They're made in America or Canada and Mexico, and so do not come through here and have, there's no need to rush out and buy these products, Marky.
Okay, really good to know. Rich, I was telling you yesterday, I've been to Target every day for 2 weeks trying to find my daughter's baby formula that comes from the UK. Store shelves have been empty, but you don't want to mass buy because I don't want to become part of the problem, and panic buy and not save some for other parents too.
It's scary.
It's scary, yeah. Rich McHugh, thank you so much. Really great report.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.
Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kadash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles of the great millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity. And to the men, women, and children that are listening and learning. And to the Bayat of the the house of David that is scattered abroad. I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. So, as you just heard it, the panic buying because of, the U.S., the port strikes and the shutdown, dock workers walking off the job and all that. Shortages and all that. So, of course, just like how it was back in 2020, during that little ordeal, that people were just, panic buying, but they're stocking up like crazy on paper towels, toilet paper, produce, water. Here we are again, 4 years later. And this time, if those imports don't get to the stores on time like they should, we're going to see a big increase in shortages, and they, the United States, it's costing America $5 billion a day for those imports. It's crazy. And and since there's going to be fewer items in the stores, like the man just said, within the next 1, 2, 3 weeks, maybe longer than that, maybe a month and a half out, who knows? But when those shortages come, man, it's going to be severe, because inflation is going to skyrocket, and there's going to be a lot of things that people are not going to afford. Okay, America is going to starting to feel those birth pains. All right, this is the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 6, verse 22, and it says, "And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty." Okay? Like I said, if those imports don't get in, and those truckers aren't able to start, transporting those goods to these establishments, to these supermarkets and all that, these places, they're not going to be able to get their produce in, their items. They're not going to be selling anything. People buying up stuff left and right now, just to make sure that they stay ahead of the curve. Eventually, it's going to get to a point where there's not going to be much of anything in those stores. Your favorite items will be gone. Produce, fruits and vegetables, certain foods will be gone. And people are going to, that's where people, I'm going to get the script right now, this is verse 23. "And the trumpet shall give a sound, and when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. Verse 24, "And at that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies." So yeah, man. When there's a shortage on supply, people are going to be fighting over certain items, possibly killing one another just to get it, robbing one another. Not just that, but people may go to other people's houses, beg for food at first, but nobody's going to be budging or giving, so people are going to be resorting to desperate measures. Just say, fuck it, I'm just going to kill this person and I'm going to take it. Okay, when you put Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is putting that tight squeeze of being uncomfortable. People are going to be very uncomfortable when this stuff starts escalating and starts getting worse and worse. People are going to start resorting to drastic measures, things that becoming desperate, things that they wouldn't have done if they were comfortable. So again, I'm going to start at verse 24. It says, "At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies." Okay, "And the earth shall stand fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountains shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run." Okay, so eventually it's we already know that they're poisoning the food supply anyway, because these consumers, these people, they don't do their research and look at what they're eating, look at the chemicals in the food that they're eating. Okay, they just buy whatever they want, or whatever tastes good, satisfies them, and they just do their thing and go about their day. But it's gonna come that's coming to an end. Okay, and another thing too about how the water's contaminated, and like everything that we eat, drink, everything that we put in our body in society is poisonous, because you know who. But all I'm saying is, when these shortages come and these higher prices come about, inflation, it's gonna get bad. All right, and this is gonna be the book of, it's gonna be still 2nd Esdras, it's gonna be chapter 16. Chapter 16, verse 21. And it says, behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. And part of those evils is that inflation. It's going to get to a point where the prices of things are going to be so high, whether it be gas, food, water, and other things, you won't be able to afford anything. That's why a lot of people nowadays are working 2 jobs just to make ends meet. They don't have time for anything else. Working like a slave. Or, they live with people that work multiple jobs just to make it. Okay? It's getting rough. And this is just the beginning. This is that warning sign that the Lord is giving these people. The time of being comfortable is over. So get ready to be uncomfortable. Alright? So, I guess this wasn't meant to be a long lesson, but Lord willing, it was edifying nonetheless to the Spirit. For closing, I'd like to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahawashi, Bahashem, Rachat, Wadash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles of the great millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity. And to the men, women, and children of listening and learning, and to the Bible, the double doctor, the house of David that is scattered abroad, I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. So remember, famine, the sword, and great confusion. People are going to, resort to drastic measures, get desperate. Okay? So, this is where, in this time, we need to be more aware of ourselves and aware of the people around us, because you don't know who's watching, who's listening. You just don't ultimately know who's targeting you. But, Lord willing, Yahweh Shem got our back. All right? Shalom, Barak Atah.